In Port Harcourt, Zainab's rise draws envy. A night out turns sinister. Friends, a poisoned drink, and a shadowy figure waiting. Will she survive? In Port Harcourt, evenings had a way of glowing softly before the real darkness arrived. The city breathed in rhythms of traffic horns, distant generators, and laughter drifting from roadside bars. It was the kind of place where dreams could either rise quickly or sink without a trace. Zainab understood this better than most. She had come to the city years ago with nothing but a nylon bag of clothes and a stubborn belief that her life would not end the way people predicted. While others complained about the heat and the hustle, she studied late into the night, worked during the day, and saved every naira she could. Slowly, almost quietly, things began to change for her. By 26, Zainab was doing well. Not loud success, not the type you announce on social media every hour, but the kind people notice without being told. She had moved from a cramped face me I face you to a neat apartment in GRA. She dressed better, spoke with more confidence, and no longer borrowed money at the end of the month. Her laughter sounded freer now. Her old friends noticed too. They were the ones who used to sit with her on plastic chairs outside their former compound, sharing cheap wine and gossiping about men and miracles. Back then, they were equal. Now, whenever Zainab visited, conversations would pause briefly, smiles stretching a little too tight before settling back into place. They still called her our girl, but their eyes followed her shoes, her phone, the way she carried herself. When the invitation came, it sounded harmless. A girl's night out. No stress, no work talk, just music, lights, and forgetting worries for a few hours. One of them mentioned a popular nightclub along Peter Adelai Road, a place Zainab had never bothered to visit. She hesitated at first. Nightclubs were never really her thing, but they insisted. They reminded her of old times, of loyalty, of how long it had been since they were all together like before. They laughed about how success had made her too serious. Eventually, Zainab agreed, telling herself it was just one night, nothing more. The club was alive when they arrived. Neon lights washed over sweaty bodies, music thumped through the floor, and the air smelled of perfume, alcohol, and heat. Zainab felt slightly out of place at first, adjusting her dress, scanning the crowd. Her friends surrounded her quickly, pulling her into laughter, into dancing, into the noise. A drink was ordered for her, then another. She didn't see who took her glass at some point, didn't notice the brief exchange of looks between two of them near the bar. She was too busy remembering old jokes, old songs, old versions of herself she thought she had outgrown. The glass returned to her hand, cold against her fingers, bubbles rising quietly to the surface as the music grew louder around them. Zainab lifted the glass absent-mindedly, still smiling as one of them whispered something into her ear about a man dancing foolishly near the stage. She took a small sip, then another, the taste sharper than she expected. She frowned slightly but brushed it off, assuming it was just a stronger mix than usual. Around her, the club seemed to pulse harder. Lights flashed faster. Voices overlapped. Her friends danced close, too close, their hands steadying her shoulders even though she hadn't asked for help. One of them laughed loudly, watching her face instead of the dance floor. Zainab began to feel strange. At first, it was lightheadedness, like standing up too quickly after sitting for too long. Then her palms felt clammy. The music, which had been exciting minutes earlier, now sounded distant, as if she were underwater. She blinked several times, trying to focus, but the room refused to stay still. She turned to say something, to joke about needing air, but her tongue felt heavy. Words tangled in her mouth. Her friends exchanged another look, quick and loaded, before one of them leaned in, feigning concern. "You okay?" she asked, her voice syrupy sweet. Zainab nodded even though she wasn't. Her knees wobbled slightly, and she grabbed the edge of the table to steady herself. The glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor, unnoticed by most people dancing nearby. A sharp fear cut through the haze. This wasn't normal. She searched their faces now, really looked at them, and something cold settled in her chest. Their concern didn't reach their eyes. One of them kept glancing toward the exit. Another tapped her phone nervously, as if waiting for a signal. I need to go outside," Zainab managed to say, her voice barely audible. They moved quickly, too quickly, each taking an arm, guiding her through the crowd. To anyone watching, it looked like friends helping a drunk girl. But Zainab felt it then, the firmness of their grip, the way they steered her away from the brighter areas of the club. Her heart began to race. As they reached a quieter corner near the restrooms, her vision blurred further. Sweat rolled down her back despite the air conditioning. Memories flashed through her mind in fragments. Late nights studying, her first big paycheck, her mother's proud smile during a phone call, all the things she had worked too hard to lose. She tried to pull away. "What did you put in my drink?" she whispered, panic cracking through the fog. They froze for half a second, just half, long enough for the truth to flicker across their faces before it vanished beneath forced laughter. "Zainab, relax," one of them said softly. "You're imagining things." But the way her hands trembled as she said it told another story. Zainab's chest tightened. The walls seemed to breathe in and out, closing in on her as they led her farther from the music. Her heels dragged against the tiled floor, her strength draining faster than her fear could keep up with it. Somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice screamed at her to fight, to shout, to draw attention, but her body betrayed her. They stopped near the back exit where the lights were dimmer and the smell of disinfectant mixed with stale alcohol. One of them pressed her against the wall gently, too gently, smiling like a sister. "You just need fresh air," she said. Zainab's vision split into doubles. Faces melted into shadows. But even in that haze, she noticed something else. Another figure stood near the door, a man pretending to scroll through his phone, glancing up every few seconds. He wasn't a stranger to them. She could tell by the way one of the girls nodded subtly in his direction. Betrayal cut deeper than the sickness spreading through her veins. Zainab's legs gave way, and she would have collapsed if they hadn't held her up. Her breath came in shallow gasps now. Her heartbeat thudded so loudly it drowned out the music completely. "Please," she whispered, tears gathering in her eyes. "If I offended any of you, we can talk." For a brief moment, doubt flickered across one face. Just one. But it was quickly swallowed by something darker. Envy, resentment, the bitterness of watching someone rise while you remain stuck. "Always the lucky one," another muttered under her breath, not realizing Zainab could still hear. The door creaked open, letting in a rush of humid night air from outside. The noise of the club faded behind them, replaced by the distant hum of cars and generators. Zainab felt the cool air hit her face, and with it, a tiny spark of clarity. This was it. If she didn't act now, whatever they planned would be completed without witnesses. Summoning the last of her strength, she dug her nails into one girl's arm. The girl yelped in surprise, loosening her grip. Zainab stumbled forward, crashing into the doorframe, her shoulders screaming in pain. Her scream followed, raw and desperate, cutting through the night. The man near the door swore under his breath. "Move faster," he snapped. Zainab's knees hit the ground, the concrete rough against her skin. Her head spun violently, but she forced her eyes open, searching the parking lot for help, for light, for anything that meant life. Headlights flashed in the distance as a car slowed nearby. The headlights grew brighter, washing the parking lot in sudden white light. The car slowed, then stopped. A door opened. "Hey!" a man shouted. "What's going on there?" Everything happened at once. The grip on Zainab's arms loosened. Panic flashed openly on her friends' faces now, no longer hidden behind smiles. One of them stepped back instinctively. Another hissed her name in warning, but it was too late. Tension had found them. Zainab collapsed fully this time, her body hitting the ground as her strength finally gave out. The last thing she felt before darkness threatened to swallow her was the rough texture of concrete and the cool relief of air filling her lungs. The man rushed closer, followed by a security guard from the club who had noticed the commotion. Voices rose, questions flew, accusations spilled out in confusion. Zainab's friends tried to explain, talking over each other, their stories tangled and unconvincing. She drank too much. She was already sick. She just needed air. But the broken glass from inside, the way they hovered too closely, the fear in their eyes, it all told a different story. An ambulance was called. At the hospital in Port Harcourt, bright lights stabbed at Zainab's eyes as doctors moved quickly around her. Tests were run. Fluids were pumped into her veins. Somewhere between consciousness and sleep, she heard words like foreign substance and timing was critical. She survived. When she woke fully hours later, her throat burned and her body ached. But she was alive. A police officer stood nearby, notebook in hand. He didn't rush her. He simply said, "When you're ready, tell us everything." Zainab closed her eyes briefly, tears slipping down the sides of her face. Not from pain this time, but from the weight of understanding. The people she had trusted with her laughter, her memories, her past, had nearly taken her future. By morning, news had spread quietly. Statements were taken. Arrests followed. Some cried. Some denied. Some went silent. Zainab was discharged days later, weaker but wiser. She returned to her apartment alone, sat by her window, and watched Port Harcourt move as it always had. Busy, indifferent, alive. Success, she realized, didn't just reveal who admired you. It revealed who wished you never made it this far. That's the end of this story. If you find this interesting, kindly subscribe and comment your opinion.